not swayed, so I know you're thinking this person makes bad life choices. Clearly he wasn't educated. But I was educated. I went to a nice high school, the Indiana Academy, which was a boarding school, prep school, paid for by the state of Indiana. And it was a very big deal that I got accepted to go there. It was a lot of fun. I was very excited. But the curious thing about the academy was every time I went there, I had the weirdest trip going. Even the very first day I ever visited the academy, the day I first went to check out the school, was the day my mother died. Yeah, it's going to be that kind of story. Strap in. But no, it's true. My mother had gotten sick. She diagnosed with cancer, and we were living in northern Indiana. She was transferred to a hospital in Indianapolis. She passed away, and the day she passed away, my family, obviously we were down there, and on the drive back, my dad said, well, since we're all the way down here and it's on the way, we might as well stop at the academy since you're going there next year. I was surprised too. I didn't think they were going to let me go. Because my mother didn't want me to go to the academy. It was my brother was going to start college the same year, and she didn't want her two eldest children leaving at the same time. But I realized intellectually that during the hospital stay, my dad had been talking to her. They were looking at the college bills, at the scholarship promises the academy offered, and just the practical thing of looking at the future, moving forward, just doing the work of taking care of us. I had to go to the academy. But in my head, I was just like, oh, I guess things have changed. And when I actually, even the room is reacting the way most people react when I tell them that my dad took me to this school the day my mother died. You have to realize, in the 24 hours before that, we'd gone down there to say goodbye to my mom. And as we're saying goodbye, the doctors ran in and said, no, wait, we got more tests back. It looks like she's going to be okay. And we're like, fantastic. We went home and got the phone call that night and went back to take care of the rest of the business. And so when people ask me, how could you think it was okay to drive you to the school that day? It was because in the span of 24 hours, he faced the risk of losing his wife, having that risk taken away, and then suddenly become a widower and single father of 3. And on the drive to the academy, I was watching him the entire time. He didn't say much, but he had this grimace on his face. He kept tilting his head. He was clearly having a conversation with himself. He kept having these hand gestures, like chopping the air and pushing his hand in front of him. I knew he was forward. Like, gotta take the next step, gotta take the next step. Because if he stopped, then everything was going to fall apart. But we went to the school. It was fantastic. I was super excited. I applied, I got in, and I got to tell the high school I was at, piss off, I'm not coming back here. It was the thrill of dropping out and then going to a better place. It's fantastic. It's like quitting a temp job by saying that you have found a new religion. Do they want to know about it? Which I've also done. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend quitting your job by telling your boss you have joined a cult and inviting them in. So, I get into the academy. It comes time for my dad to drive me down, to drop me off. He takes my little sister with me. We're heading down in the van, and I'm asleep. You put me in a car, I immediately fall asleep. And my sister's in the back, and we get to the final rest stop before the academy. And my dad wakes me up. He's like, you want to use the bathroom? I'm like, no, I'm sure I'll piss myself regardless when I get there. It's all going to be fine. He's like, so I go back to sleep. He gets out to go use the bathroom. My sister gets out to use the bathroom. Comes back on the road, we're going. And he wakes me up again when we hit the exit for the academy itself. He's like, okay, get the directions out, let's find the final details here. And I'm like, okay, and then I look around the van. Where's Kathleen? He's, what? My sister was no longer in the van. She'd gotten out of the van about a minute after him, so he didn't know she'd left, and he didn't check the van before he went back. And so my father, who never swears and never speeds, used the most vehement profanity and redlined that van all the way back down the interstate. Even past the cop in the unmarked car who we'd seen before, he managed to angle it so that there was a car between him and the cop the whole way, so he didn't have to ever drop below 80. And he gets over there and goes, has to come come back around, because Indiana has them on the opposite side, and Pennsylvania has them in the middle. You can get from either side. No, we had to go all the way around. And we get there, and it's like a half hour, 45 minutes later, and my sister's just sitting at a park table watching the ants do their thing. And I walk up, I'm like, what's up? What's up? I didn't think you guys would be back this soon. I thought you would take care of that silent stuff first. And then my dad walks up to her, and he just hugs her. And that's when she starts crying. And I was watching them, I saw that there was this man who was so focused on moving forward, but still holding on, because the work was not yet done.
Thank you, Donald. One more time for Donald.